that is going around. I, as a person, my resource that I can give is my time. ठीक है? And my time has a value, a monetary value. And if somebody wants my time, they have to pay a price for it. It's not abundant, it is limited. If I was immortal and I had lots and lots of time, then the price of my time probably would be nothing because I have lots of time. There's abundance in it. Similarly, when we talk about any kind of resource that you're producing, we say every resource are limited. So, for example, electricity is limited. The government is producing electricity and it has X amount of quantity that it has. And because of that, different people are saying, I want electricity. The other ones are saying, I want electricity. And they're competing for this limited stuff. And when you have limited resources, you have to pay a price for it. And when you pay a price and produce something, you have to pay for it. It cannot be free. वो तो फिर philanthropy हो जाएगी कि I pay a price and produce something and then I give it to people. We have a lot of NGOs which are doing that. ठीक है? But somebody is paying a price for it. NGO अगर किसी बंदे को खाना खिला रहा है तो वो खाना मुफ्त में नहीं आया कहीं से. Somebody has to pay a price for it, and it is mostly the donors who are giving it for whatever reason. So, good versus service. You have to know the key differences between them. And when you're defining it, these are your words. A good is a tangible thing. Sometimes for tangible, they can even use a word visible. A good is a tangible thing, it's a visible thing, it's a physical thing, okay, which you can touch and feel and see. Mobile phone, car, house, glass of water, even water for that matter, watches, pen, everything like that. A service, on the other hand, is something which is intangible. It is invisible. You can't touch it. Okay? You can only see it happen. In some places, you might even say कि invisible hai, but right next to it, I'm saying that services are something that you can see. Mainly, it's about the idea: can you touch it or not? You can't touch it. Like, for example, I can see a hairdresser cutting hair, and I'm saying he's providing a service. Similarly, with a banker, this guy is taking my money, putting in the vault, and giving me a receipt. That's a service he's performing, that he's keeping my money safe. I can't touch that particular thing as to what he's doing, but I can see that, okay, this is something that is being produced and provided. So that's the key difference, physical, non-physical, and that's what you need to do. On the other hand, जो free good hota hai, we say it's not an economic good. Why? Because nobody has to pay a price for it. It's something like air, sunshine, seawater, wind, stuff like that. They are abundant. They are abundant. What do you think? Rainwater. Can you tell me if rainwater is a free good or is it an economic good? It's a free good. Can you charge a price if you want for it? Any possibility, any circumstance that you start. How can you? Yeah. No, but if it. Okay, but can I charge people for the rainwater? Okay. So there was this thing I was watching. It was about a country in Bolivia, and they said in country Bolivia, basically what happened was that the private sector bought most of the water resources, and then obviously they were charging a really high price for the water. And so the government could not do much because it had privatized the water. So whenever it used to rain, people used to collect water and they would use that water, obviously. And so there was a legislation which was passed that people are not allowed to collect any kind of rainwater. Can the government even supervise something like this? It's not possible because people will. If I'm collecting rainwater on my rooftop, how would the government be even able to do that? But so the government will have to spend a lot of money to make sure that something like this is not happening. In fact, this legislation was passed, and then people thought it's so ridiculous. They came out on the street, and a lot of problems happened. And as a result, obviously, they had to then abolish the policy because it was just a ridiculous one. Similarly, um, now, like for example, seawater, we have a lot of seawater. We have like sea view, and people can go there. They can collect water in the bottles and stuff, and nobody can charge a price on it because it's so much that would just be ridiculous to charge price for it. It won't make sense. So usually free good is abundant in nature. That's why nobody's going to pay a price for it because anyone can go and get it. Now let's try this. If you've understood your goods and services, an ambulance, is it a good or a service? It's a good. A payphone. A payphone is not a good, it's a service. If it was my telephone or a mobile phone, I would say, yeah, I own it, I can touch it, feel it, it's mine. This is a payphone which is there out on the streets and people can go there. They cannot take it home. They can go there, they can put in the money, they can make a phone call and then they can go. It's a service that this payphone is providing. Okay, it is a physical, tangible thing, the phone itself. But this phone represents a service, which is that people can use it to connect to other people by paying money. And it's not just limited to one person, many people can use something like this. Number 3, a bicycle. It's a good. Unless nowadays in San Francisco and places like that, you can use it for a service because they have all these gadgets on it and you can charge and you can use the bicycle. Once your charge is finished, you have to leave it and go away. Then it becomes a service. All right. Number 4 is a postal service. Sorry, what is this? It's a service. Glasses. It's good. A dentist. A hairdresser. A computer. It can be a service. How? How can it be a service? Absolutely. So in the case of if it is like an internet cafe or someplace where they have computers. All right. How about a bus? Bus for transport. It's a service. Vitamins. A fireman. Milk. It's a good.